Call the meeting to order. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any corrections or changes to the minutes from prior council meeting? Hearing none, they will be approved as written. The council members, you'll notice in front of you an agenda. And it's extended out, has places in between, it has a last page for notes. Okay, when Anita was at her training, we found out that any writing that you guys do on paper becomes part of the public record. So if you want to take the notes home, we will make photocopies of them, but so you can take them home, but anything you write on, we will need to collect when you're finished. Okay? Evidently, there's been some real issues in some cities. So that's become what we need to do. Another item we need to talk about is, are any of you council members having a conflict of interest with any of the agenda items? If you have any conflict, because of ties, whatever, to any of the council agenda items, we need to know about it up front. Are none? Okay, we're good to go then. Are there any public comments on items that are not on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move forward. Committee reports, library.
The traveling tapestry came down yesterday. The high school art show is up through the rest of this week. The 250 community art show is up in the general space, not just the conference room. There's a Flag Day documentary that's just posting today, special programming about that they're gonna collaborate with the theater and do it at the theater, and as a little extra perk, Carmen's going to give her Legion speech that she won. And just for fun, just get practice because it's right before the show. And then a little side note that happened today as well, a funeral and some other things. We will not have our meeting next Tuesday. But we need to have our emergency plan done sooner than later. So we are going to have a meeting on the 29th at noon, and that will probably only include that emergency plan and approval. So that's.
Any questions from the public? Okay, tree board.
And secure. So we all together at the meeting. First man of it, I noticed that if you have to speak truly, because you get and you see it into
And you make one branch, a branch or a part of it, not the whole tree, right?
Even to be so then we're gonna have the tree. The city does a whole the tree. The tree that planted is the act. Anyway, we did that. Need to be so the tree that we use called a spider little and so it looks really up. And this is what it is. So it's not as but it's street from it stay with that. Then the next grade for meeting is going to be for the same grade.
Questions, comments? Recreation Committee?
Well. We're down to full cleaning right now. On a broken valve, I mean, it shattered. Just, I don't know, must have had me froze, I don't know how it got froze. But I got Stances looking for one, if we can find one, used part we got, but it's not too big. We're about half clean with the pool. We're down over the hump, getting down to really good stuff where Susan's gonna come along to clean it up. I think we got a meeting the 15th this month.
20th.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was the 20th at 5:00.
Yeah.
Okay. Here at the City Hall.
And I took pictures of the skate park, I took pictures of the tennis court, and I took pictures of the basketball court, and I'll have the data for our next meeting. Print them out, just to see what kind of shape they're in. Other than that, just keep cleaning.
Okay, any comments or questions? Gordon? Go ahead.
Do you have a like? Okay.
Well, we're, right now, she wants to have everything done the 18th, because Thompson Pool's gonna be here Monday the 18th. And look things over, then she's gonna start doing the breaking in the lifeguards. The new ones that haven't been done, but we're gonna have it hopefully full of water by the 18th.
But I mean, talking about when kids can actually slash.
I think as soon as school is out is the plan,
Okay.
is the hope.
Okay.
Ordinance Committee?
The first reading. Oh, this is a franchise. That we should be having there. So, then we'll have the reading. We needed to repeal the street court ordinance. We have. What was that, was that a resolution?
Yeah. We didn't know that there was an ordinance out there on the tree board. We found it was in 1984.
Oh. It's just, we changed something, that did filter for you, we recommend that we put that in place. And the 2016, we need to wait on. Until we leave the team, that, we don't know. It may change. Actually, and we have a recommendation. Next meeting,
Any questions or comments from public or council?
Yeah, I have a question. The people we're paying the money to. Title 13, you delete it. Because we can't control more enforcement energy.
We'll get down to talking about that. Railroad and rail yard and roundhouse. We don't have a committee. I need to have some interested parties because tonight we'll be talking about some stuff, moving forward. And would like to have some help from the public, from council or anybody who's might be interested in taking a look at and helping us work on what's going on down at the Roundhouse? What's the time you have in?
Huh?
The Roundhouse?
No, it'd be down. People.
What? Excuse me, I'm trying to understand. You said you go down working with them, the people on the rail?
Takes over a year. We involved with them.
Put you on the committee. I do need a lot of help because we're talking about some big dollar items. Okay. Up to you. Okay, up to you guys. I didn't know there was anybody on the rail yard or roundhouse committee. Okay. We'll have to do that. Okay, old business. You have before you resolution 2026-17. It's a resolution that we had talked about last meeting about getting some grant money for our CIP plan, the capital improvement plan for our city. And this gives Amy Deichler the permission to do that. So I guess I would entertain a motion to pass resolution 2026-17. You've had time to read it, I hope.
And so,
Second, any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Did you raise your hand, Charlie? Okay, I didn't catch it when I was looking around. Okay, so that passes unanimously. Park Pavilion use agreement. That in front of you. And along with that was an open container waiver application. We had time to take a look at that, and what's your thoughts, what's your feelings?
sure. The ability to get insurance. The two insurance agents in town, and I don't know where this came, I don't know where just commonly it's something that somebody else said, or if it's coming from MMIA, I don't know.
Pardon?
Because both insurance agents in town that I talked to, number 7, they said, event insurance that they usually sell is for 1 million, not 1.5. That Cody Tierney said, it's really hard to get 1.5, it would be 1, 2, or 3 million. That would be in even numbers, so, I don't know if we wanna make that viable by a person. Both of them told me it's about $350 an event. The farmer's market is operating under the chamber's insurance policy. And therefore they have embedded insurance for their part, the highway and some other stuff, so farmer's market would not be affected. But I guess my next question is this for a 50-person thing, or is this like 60?
Where's the event of over 50? It's under 8.
So the non-alcoholic, but the liability insurance would only also be 50. Is that the intention?
Well, again, what we had before, and it's like the street closure. If you want to, and this is pavilion, it says park pavilion use agreement, and we only have the large pavilion and the small pavilion. And if they want to have exclusive use of it, then they would need to fill out the form. And if there's the insurance, like a lot of people that do like the church groups or other organizations, they have their own insurance company that will provide that.
I just.
So that's where that came into it.
In particular, I know that the stamp out the stigma that comes out of community builders for the suicide walk, they do not have 50 people, they have about 18 or 20. But, and they basically give out awards right there, they leave on their walk from there, they come back to there and give out awards. So
Do they
that just.
Do they want exclusive use of the pavilion?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Again,
then they-
this was kind of written up that if you want, if you have a smaller group and you want exclusive event there, there's, there might be some figures that we could talk about numbers of people. Several other towns have it if it's 25 or less. They would hold it and there was no insurance requirement. If there's 50 or more, then they would, or 40 or more, then they would. And that's what we're looking for, is ideas on how to make it usable. No,
Because if
the way it was written, it only applies to,
those 6 people that's that amount of stigma would have to pay $50. To have exclusive use of that.
I hear what you're saying.
So that.
And if you guys want it changed to where any number, we could put a number in there. If you want exclusive use of one of the pavilions, that's what the form is for. If you want to just come first serve using it, you don't need any agreements. Or insurance. No.
Yeah, I know the ladies that were here were concerned about birthday parties and things like that.
So
So.
it's a birthday party and they do not want exclusive use, no problem. Right, unless we want to put that in here, which we can do. If you guys want to have that in the agreement.
The food truck, they pay for
The alcohol, the seller of the alcohol has to provide the liability insurance on it.
That's a different thing. The farmer's market hasn't had alcohol down there for the last 2 years. They've redone their thing. But they do, the farmer's market I specifically call about because I hated to see that big crash. Because they do it 5 times a summer or 6 and they have to pay $3.50 a time. But they are operating under, we think, that was still a little sketchy, but they're pretty sure they have event insurance under the chamber. And I know they asked about it today and then they didn't. So they do have it under the chamber. I'm not sure why the community builders couldn't get under somebody, but maybe they haven't tried. So they just not purchased an insurance and that's the only event they do down there. They do the suicide prevention walk. They start there and they end there. They do have cookies and whatever, but I think they just knew it wasn't exclusive use and they would move if they had to. It's not something they would have for $350. So.
What we try to do is make sure that if there's a fairly large group, we want to make sure that it's covered as far as our liabilities.
And that's
Okay,
could put a number on number 7, that if that insurance would be for, I don't necessarily, 50 was in number 8, that's why I chose 50, but maybe it needs to be. Maybe it needs, I don't know, 50 seems like a good number to me. That would seem like when people could break their legs. With or without alcohol, that, I guess 50 seems like but I thought I wanted to understand if MMIA was behind this and they're the ones requiring this. So.
Yes, first of all, most insurance agents are not aware there is what is called a state tort cap limit for the state and counties and cities, and that's found at 2-9-118 Montana Code Annotated. And what that says, and it's an older statute, it says the cap or the limit of liability for cities, counties, and the state is $750,000 per claim, 1.5 million each occurrence. This causes agents to scratch their heads because the current modern amount of insurance is sold typically in $1 million increments. So the MMI isn't very knowledgeable in all this. The MMI always recommends for every city that you require at least what the statute says, knowing that an agent, excuse me, will come back and say, you are going to have $2 million to cover that, because that is the current industry practice when they sell liability insurance. The other, a couple of things, and I don't claim to be an insurance expert, don't get me wrong. I've dealt with this a long time. A couple of other subtleties, whenever there's an event on city property, that event, if they have insurance, which is very good risk management to require them to do that, they should also name the city as what we call an additional non-contributory insurer. So asking them if they have insurance is a good start, but it's not the whole thing. They need to add the city as an additional insurer.
Which is what it says here.
Yes.
Number 7.
Yeah, I'm just explaining
Yeah.
where that comes from. Again,
Number 7 and
recommended,
number 8 both have that.
again, recommended by the MMIA, you're insured. And then finally, whenever there's alcohol sold or served on city property, every vendor that does that always needs to name the city again as an additional insured. And most bars, et cetera, that are vendors will have what is called liquor liability insurance, and they will understand that almost every city they go to and almost every event using a local government property, they are required to name that local government as an additional insured. So you should not get much pushback with that. I think that's pretty common. So anyway, those are just a couple of things.
The smaller gatherings of 20 people or
Mhm.
30 people that they were gonna have to spend $350. That was where I was getting my public pushback.
Any comment from the council? What's your feeling about putting a number value there? What would your? A birthday party or a small family gathering type thing? So if you put a figure of what, 30 and less? That's what I'm asking.
That's different. Yeah. And then, and both Joey and Lexi, all of them told me, those alcohol galleys and Two Dot were the only two liquor or catering facilities in our town at this time. They can't get a caterer's license without a traveling insurance policy on site. That's part of their caterer's license. So that should be handled by Montana law. We wouldn't even go.
So then basically, you wanted the less than 30 would not need the insurance, above 30 would need it? Okay.
Should that be 2 million covered by insurance? By putting it set or 50. 1.5 million each occurrence.
Is that what MMIA said?
Yeah.
In regards to this?
With the understanding that an insurance agent will always,
Go higher.
yes, they'll say, well, we don't sell it at 1.5 million increments. We could simplify this by just putting 1.5 million per occurrence, delete the 1 million per claim, and just say 1.5 million per occurrence. I think that would.
Which is what we have currently, number 7.
Right. Yeah, and
For 1.5, they go to 2 million.
policy, if you want to raise it to 2, you can.
could be current. One, like a $2 million policy covering $1 million. Is that?
Not insurance.
I don't think that's. I don't-
Or you could say 1 million with the,
What do you, check?
Typically on an insurance certificate, you'll see 1 million each occurrence, and then a little bit further down, it will say umbrella or excess 1 million. An additional 1 million,
Okay.
and that's 99% of the certificates of insurance I've seen. That's how they meet the 1.5 million statutory tort cap limit. And again, agents have called me up and said, I've never heard of such a thing. I emailed them the statute, and they go, well, that requires them to buy 2 million total each occurrence insurance. And I said, well, if that's your carrier's practice that you have access to, and they will not issue a $500,000 or 1.5 million each occurrence, then. Well, if you're gonna go by the statute, which the MMI recommends, that's 1.5 million.
the statute says 1.5.
Yeah. With the understanding that you may get a call from an insurance agent, I'm more than happy to talk. Again, I don't know everything, but I dealt with more than one angry insurance agent, and I emailed them the statute, and they go, oh. So, and what you're doing here is what almost all of the other cities in Montana are doing based on the MMI's, yes. So this isn't something unusual.
Dane?
It's less than very good or very good. Very, very.
More than 30? Okay. The wording would be better that way. Okay. Thank you. That'll help my thought process, okay? Thank you. Any other thoughts or questions about it? Bob?
I have a question. Just yesterday, a group showed up. So do we need any verbiage in here that if someone shows up that's not aware of this policy, the procedure to tell them what the policy is and whether they choose to leave or not?
Well, I guess the main issue or the main reason for the pavilion use agreement is the fact if they want exclusive use of it, then they would need to fill out the form. I mean, they want a particular day, particular time, so they can have their function or their event there. Then we'd have to reserve that unit or the whichever pavilion for that. If somebody just shows up, it's whoever comes first gets to use it, unless somebody already has prior.
The reason I'm asking the question is the colony shows up, Andy. They showed up yesterday. So if they get injured, does the city's insurance cover that?
Yeah, I think so. No different than if some kid falls off. If the park is open,
If the park's open and there's no exclusive use, then I guess,
So then my question, sure, any covered.
except that we don't want it on our insurance policy. And smaller groups normally are different than a large group. There's not a small, okay. Did we then put a cap on what number would be? Have to fill out the park use or the pavilion use?
it's a matter of then the comes after them, says, hey, I have this, you guys have.
Well, I think we have our,
My next question, do we need some kind of signage up there to cover us?
yeah, we need some kind of signage that would go out. This will be used from this time to this time for an event.
Get you reserved for the day.
Well, except your reservation is not necessarily for a day. It could be just a couple hours or 4 hours. Yeah,
Because we just put like blackboard down there, we got to just go.
I think what he means is if you got a big group down there. Do we need signage down there that says if you have a group of 50, you need to go fill out?
That's what I was
Yeah.
asking. Do we need to have that as one of our park rules? It says if you are using a pavilion area and you have a group in excess of 30, then you need to fill out the document. If you want exclusive use of the pavilion, you need to fill out the document. Does that work? I'm not down there all the time, but I know that every time I've been down there, there's been very few small groups or large groups.
Just the ones I know about is each colony, so 3 times per year for that.
They bring something for lighting.
There's I don't know enough to tell you who this is, but it's something to do with branding, squeeze shoe,
Oh, that feed guy.
that feed that shows up once a year.
Barbecue.
But that has. I thought that was out and more than 50 people, so that one's not. Right?
Trying to think, cause. The first summer, cause he came in that first September I was here and filled out the thing, but didn't the next year, I think it was, cause he made a big mess down there last year, right?
Yes, it will. Made some pretty good ruts by the pavilion. So then the school.
Correct.
Yeah, they do their building and then they pay the schools in June.
Yeah. But I guess, do we need to change some kind of park use that says placard down there that says group size more than 50, you need to fill out the form? Or do we just need, if they don't want exclusive use?
My question wasn't directed for who can and cannot use the park. It was directed for who's gonna be insured and who's not.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm asking here at the same time. Because if they have to fill out the form, that explains who has to be insured and who doesn't. If they don't fill out the form, I'm not sure how we necessarily control that.
Well, if you just take a family of 12 down there to have, I think it's the level of risk. If you take a family of 12 down there to have a party in the park or a birthday party, the level of risk does not raise to the point that you need $1.5 million worth of insurance. They're just gonna, and if they fall off the swing today, we have to pay. Unless. It's been no.
There are multiple routes for dogs. Harder for kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What they wanted to have a fishing derby on it. Don't they go to the pavilion?
No.
They
They were.
I thought they were.
They have, yeah, I was gonna say they have like a barbecue or something.
Worse than, say, signs that. Who's going to address them? Who do you call? Like, hey, get out. Yeah. Which that could be nice.
yeah,
30 or less, or 30. Who's gonna force it?
okay,
Who's that big ass? One of these people really think that they're.
speak loudly, please.
Really, you know. Here.
Okay, so any other items we should take a look at it in this document, or is it just basically the numbers? If the pavilion's not reserved, it would be open to them doing it. I guess, be the main thing, unless we put a cap on. Saying a cap meaning the number of people would dictate whether or not you have to fill out the form. If you showed up on a weekend, office is closed. I guess how tight do we want to make it?
Yeah. Now. Over 50. Then you can.
But again, if they're not reserving it for a specific event, they just happen to show up. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to ask, how we can clarify that, or do we need to clarify that?
I'd like to be some. Subject to the on. We people, they need insurance, alcohol, need insurance. If there's. It's all.
Okay. Okay. So the only thing we need to put on there is if it's over. Reserving. Okay, if it's over 30 people reserving, that needs to have insurance. If it's less than that. No need to worry about, and if people just happen to get together and do it. Then that's the way it is without a reservation, correct? Okay, is that the way you understand it? Okay, if you want to do that, we can make the changes on that and then come back. I guess we'll have to ask, or what do you, push that off until next time. But okay, the other thing, go ahead.
Facilities without their city permission, what would that be? To me, that allows, that just opens up a can of worms for them to,
Is it moving or? Ginormous heavy things?
that, is that what it is?
It says the user agrees it will not injure, mar, or in any way deface or alter the city park or the city's facilities or property, and shall not cause or permit anything to be done that damages or destroys the park land, equipment, or facilities in any manner. Modifications to any part of the park land, equipment, or facilities shall not be permitted without prior permission from the city as indicated in this agreement.
We have to get it done, the shingles off.
No.
Oh, no, no, what about you need 6 tables instead of 5? And so you go move it from some other place. And that's not where it's designed to be. It's designed to be over some other place. They can't do that without city permission to do that. That's what I would think. Oh, did I put in here that anyone who's using a barbecue or whatever,
Yes.
needs to have a fire extinguisher with them? Okay. And then also we talked about no alcoholic beverages allowed in the children's playground area, little league, baseball fields or the track area.
I don't want anyone to get confused. I do.
Just baseball fields? Okay.
Wanting they think they can drink, but they can't drink.
I thought Pee Wee and Little League were all in it. Okay. Oh, okay, we'll just put baseball fields, okay? We can change that, okay? Okay. Is that all?
No.
Okay, now, I know that we also have an open container waiver. And it's been brought to our attention that that is our ordinance 9.44, which talks about open containers, says you cannot have an open container on the streets, alleys, or sidewalks of the city itself. It does talk about like a street closure. We as a city can designate up to a 2-block area that can have open container like we do for the music festival that comes to town, but it says nothing in that ordinance about the park or the pavilion area. So that means you're gonna have to make an alteration to the, that ordinance in order to come up with this waiver.
What about the 4th of July with people and walking up and down the street?
That is, it really is, in the ordinance, the open containers not enforced for these 2 blocks
On agreement by the city.
on by chamber tells them, don't enforce. Whatever asks.
And then in
not to
essence, we give the
enforce.
waiver for it. Normally have a street close off down that area for 2 blocks too. Correct? The ordinance says we can give a waiver for up to 2 blocks. Whichever 2 blocks.
Blog taken. Yep.
Well, that's why it's this block and the next block covers most. Okay. Okay, so then, okay, we'll take a look at 9.44-040, 110 through 040 and see what we can change on that. Before we work on this, okay? So I guess since we have this as a discussion, also as an action, in case it was okay. I guess we'll need a motion to move this out. Can we move it out to council meetings? So it'd be out until the June 9th meeting. I would entertain a motion to move these items here out for that. There's a second. Any other discussion on it? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Okay, passes unanimous. Okay. Oh, we're gonna have to hustle here, aren't we? Cody Nelson. We have you on the 18th. Finally ready for you. Where's the button?
I got 3 seconds count. I got started. That's her.
There we go.
All right, my name is Cody Nelson. I'm the Director of Emergency Management and also the Wheaton County Fire Warden coordinated through the PNOC for the state of Montana. It was brought to my attention by the county commission that when members of council and the mayor attended one of their meetings here a couple months back, that the city had requested some opportunities for wildfire mitigation for the city of Hamilton. I've done a little bit of asking around, kind of looking what projects we could possibly accomplish. I understand that the city budget is in a little bit of a heated moment in its lifetime. And that there may not be a lot of excess funding available for of the moment mitigation projects, especially where we're already taking the first step into wildfire season in the state of Montana. In your guys' packets, there is a very hefty, I think 27-page proposal. The top it says proposal of the Harlingen Defensible Space Initiative. Essentially what this 27 or 29-page document is. There's a couple annexes that could have been left out that we will be provided with. Essentially, what this does is it's laying out a very budget-friendly idea for how the city can assist private landowners around our town in preparing for wildfire. In the meeting with the commissioners, it was discussed the possibility of large-scale fire breaks on the north and west side of town. There was discussion regarding many different ideas, and unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Fire mitigation project is not something that a municipality can complete on private land. If the city of Harlingen owned a swath of land in that area, then it would be very possible for us to go in on public property or on city property and complete these projects. There was some discussion regarding, can we just go out and ask for private land, say the Mirror Ranch, if we were to go in and try to get a fire break there. That was another thing that was discussed, and unfortunately that's not possible either. Anyone in council would like to further that discussion, I'll happily explain some of it. But for the sake of not talking or here, I'm gonna go into this plan a little bit more. For those who don't know, defensible space is essentially creating a space around your residence and your property that reduces the risk of a wildfire being able to turn into. It's not something that is going to completely stop a wildfire, it's not something that's gonna prevent a wildfire from happening. But it is intended to lessen the effects if we have something major. I think it was 2019, we had the Lodi Road fire that was started 10 miles north of town. And it very rapidly got way closer to that. A defensible space initiative allows us as a municipality to say, hey, landowners who are on this area. Can we come in and do a free resident inspection? We're gonna say, hey, if you cut this shrubbery down to this height and move it this far away from your site, then we think you go up at 20% more likely chance of coming through a wildfire without losing your house. If we can make sure your gutters are clean, we can make sure that your fences are all weed eater out. If you have your wooden fences painted correctly. These are all very basic mitigation strategies. So that we could lessen the effect on our residences, our neighboring residences, and the rest of the town as a whole. Throughout this, there's multiple different sections. I haven't done my best to include an estimated budget for anything that we may need to spend money on. Thankfully, it is extremely low for this project, since the majority of it would lie on the landlord themselves. One of the largest acts, other than just reading all that you guys have, my second largest act is to really look at the annex that addresses debris removal. How can the city assist in making it easier for people to remove their debris as long as they are a part of the initiative? That can make it alert about a large lift of transportation. But in this packet, the first step I would like to take in is 10 residences. That's for the first year, we can get 10 people involved in this. It would be kickoff and see if we can grow it continuously throughout the next few years. But essentially, this is my answer, my first answer in wildfire mitigation for the city of Arlington. There's a whole lot of words. Does anyone have any questions prior to reading through this? I'll make sure that this document is available to you guys. If the annexes aren't there, I'll make sure I get them to you. It's a discussion that is definitely going to take us a couple of months to lead through. This is just my kind of introduction into it. It's something you guys are super interested in. I would love to help expedite the process. If it is something that we feel needs to take a back burner, we can do that as well. We are preparing for a very, very bad drought this summer. All of our weather forecasts have unanimously decided that it is not going to be a good year in the wildfire realm. If we can make it a little bit easier on our fire department by maybe taking the first step into this plan, I think. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Hit the wrong button.
Uh-oh.
I think we've talked about Cody maybe coming back on June 9th again. And helping us out a little bit more. I do know that several items that he talks about in his document that he gave us also goes along with our BK ordinance. So it's something we would need to maybe take a look at, go that way, but I think got some very good things to say in there about that. Any other questions or thoughts from anybody? From public or from council? Okay, thank you, Cody. Next thing on our agenda is Fisher Park Flowers discussion action. Up at the Fisher Park, up here with the railroad engine on it, we in the past have had some people who would volunteer to work with the flowers in the flower bed there. We've had the Chamber of Commerce do it for years.
They've been doing it the last few years, right?
Okay, and I guess some people on occasion had a few kids helping them out there at the same time. So, but what we need to come up with, because Chamber's not able to do it, and we don't know where to go to find someone who would do that area there, where it says welcome to Harleton. In the past, I know it's had some really beautiful flowers and displays there. There are. Oh. Need more.
See, to yourself, see in my life, you can tell Charlotte, actually.
Charlotte does have a lot of plans for the summer. Robin's coming to town. We're going to South Dakota. So it's not a total thing that she could do, but what kind of ideas or thoughts could we come up with to maybe look at somebody or some group that would be able to work, pardon? We kind of a group, yeah.
You thought for in like the tree board to be that area. We are real free. Plantation.
Plantation, yeah. Any one of the committees could take over. Month at a time? No, I thought.
Julie, once they're planted, there's a sprinkling system.
Is
You
there?
need some, yeah, you need some weeding every so often, and I walk by and weed them. Good luck, that was part of the chamber and they have been, they are not.
They're done.
You want.
We're looking for ideas and thoughts. Okay, Dane, you have a thought? If we knew exactly what we had, I would say yes, maybe. But until we get done with the audit and a few things like that, I'm going to discuss a few items there. We don't know exactly where we're at.
Like to see the caretaking volunteers, the city has always bought the flowers.
In the past,
That.
I haven't asked for money for the flowers for a few years. Not here lately. Not the last few years. No,
$50 a month.
yeah, I can put something on Facebook.
put it on Facebook. Okay, maybe we can do that. See what happens the next couple weeks. Hopefully before everything starts needing to be grown or whatever.
Okay.
Okay. My ticket is, I don't know whether the tree board would be interested in that or not, because you go. Well, that's an issue for all of us. I guess we do. If we're not talking $1,500.
No, I mean,
And if we're only talking a couple $100, I don't know whether we might be able to come up with some money there, but it's in the daisies are up. They're perennial. Okay.
There's lilies back there, just some petunias around the front and. What are those orange things do? No, they're not, they're kind of, I don't know there. No, those won't flow there.
Okay.
No flow.
Well,
Okay,
Okay.
So we can
Space
stop
and
the
days.
days.
we'll go from Facebook post and see what happens, and if nothing comes up, we'll bring it back next council meeting. It does say action on that, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Okay, I guess we need to postpone this until next council meeting. If there's a motion. Second, okay, any other discussion? Dane?
Joking from the fan that he didn't take it seriously.
Well, we totally took it seriously, that's why this is on the agenda. Yeah, I was just joking.
Get somebody,
Just like everybody else.
Concerned with, and we're trying to make it work. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All in favor, all in favor, opposed, same sign. I forgot something here. In the future, when we do this, the person making the motion will have to state it. What we've been doing, state what they actually mean in the motion, that way then Anita doesn't assume that we've talked about it and she kind of knows what it is. They're telling her at the school that they need to know exactly what the person means.
that's verbatim.
Yeah. Okay, so I forgot about that. That was in my first comments and I forgot it, so. Okay, resolution 2026-16, resolution for rail yard grant action. Most of you have in your packet, you received a document called Roundhouse Redevelopment Potential Grant Funding Stat Plan, which we got had for last council meeting. For this one, you also have a, what was that other document?
It's the big one.
It is called the Professional Services Agreement. And then
There's a whole bunch,
And then there's a page on there that comes from,
it probably starts out with an email from Tanya
yeah,
Garber.
there we go.
Yeah.
Tony Garber, Professional Services Agreement. And there's also this Roundhouse Redevelopment Potential Grant Funding. Then there's a 9-page document that you have. That looks. Okay, I'll try not to kill everything. But if you put together, it comes up like this document right here. 9 pages of stuff on it. It talks about a stack of agreements, different agreements that you can get from different companies. And this is going to be over a 5 to 8 year period of time. And so what they're looking for is about $7 million worth of grants in the next 8 years, as an example. 8 years, I think it's what we're actually doing, 8 years. There are costs to this Northern Development Corporation to apply for these grants. Some of the grants are, in fact, their fees are 20% of the grant. As an example, they have a $50,000 grant they're applying for. 20% of that is what they are looking for to cover their expenses. That would mean $10,000. Now, as an example of this one, you look at it up here, $50,000. You're charging. This is the fee that they want the city to pay. So instead of being $10,000, they have $5,000 for us to pay, but they also find another grant to pay the other $5,000. So in this area here, for all the grants that they're looking at about $25,800. And they're billing us at $80 an hour to write the grants. And that's what they figure the city's portion of this. And these are portions they cannot get coverage for in any other grant. That comes to the letter that you noticed there at the beginning. Tanya said that it would be about $3,225 per year that the city would be obligated to. Now, what happens here is these grants are not available unless it shows some city intention to be involved in it. We have to have buy-in. The net out of all of this is about $61,000 that would be used on the roundhouse in over the next 8 years.
Just to round up or?
Just the roundhouse. Okay? But again, this is a stack, meaning they're gonna go for all the grants they can go for and see what they can come up with to help us. The exterior of the roundhouse is in very poor condition. They want to make sure that it's in very good condition, as well as the inside, so that we can use it for different things we want to use it for. I know when the community originally talked about this about what, 4 years, 4 years ago. They were talking about making that a convention center type thing. Where you could have wedding venues, you could have bigger meetings of groups and organizations, as well as displaying what the roundhouse looked like for the 5 days of roundhouse we had. Following me so far? Maybe I could ask any questions at this point. What's going through your mind? Maybe?
They're. And then try. They were used. These grants.
There's no guarantee on any of the grants. They're gonna write the grants. If we get the money, then we can work on the roundhouse. If we don't get the money, we don't work on the roundhouse. We do on some cases. But not all. And of all of these, there's 398,900 that they're getting in grants from other areas to pay for the grants. But again, we will have to pay some. That's our buy-in into having them try to find money to help us expand and make the roundhouse usable, functionable. Somewhere along the line, we will also need to be able to come up with some way of getting income coming back. To show that not only are we investing money into this facility and the grounds down there, but we also have to have some return of income to the city. I can't tell you exactly where that is on the timeline here, but she says that will have to be part of it. And that means you'll have to be able to come up with some kind of a venue or operation down there that would make it viable. In essence, what we're trying to get is tourism, if you will, to come here and look at it. We have to realize that we are one of 10 wood roundhouses in the nation that are still have some structure.
So do they have a proposal for? So I guess I have 2 questions. One is, so it will need to generate income before it's actually open as a convention center.
Before the total process is over,
Okay.
we will have to have some kind of plan in place that would give us some.
Do you have a suggestion for what that would be?
At this point, the only thing she was looking at is what the community said about 3 or 4 years ago. When they said they wanted an amphitheater, they wanted a travel park, they wanted the roundhouse to be some kind of a venue. And showing the the turntable that they used to run the engines onto to turn to get them into the bays and all like that. And that whole area down there, we know that there's going to be excavation this summer on the Japanese city. They're still working on the abatement of the petroleum down there, as well as the abatement of the asbestos down. But those 2 projects are already funded by grants. This is going with the roundhouse, yeah.
So if the Japanese city gets open and we can generate money off of that,
That can work.
that it's not too separate. Okay.
Right. It would work because we're looking at the whole area. Charlie?
But we brought that up 4 years. We don't have enough motel rooms to have The tournament. Well, what's the convention center? The only people that look at that roundhouse is the people over below that.
I agree with you, but that's something that we as a city have, to think, okay, what are we gonna do about it? Or how can we work with it? Because what we're saying is, we are special. In the state of Montana, we are the only roundhouse area that has that turntable out there. Even one that works on is in Ontario. It's got the cement structure there.
No, it's
Not all of it. Well, some of them have the circle the other day.
yeah, but I mean,
But what we have to do is, okay, we have to make it so that it shows some of what was there. In order to entice people who are railroad minded to come and look at it. The Railroad Museum has a lot of library to it. And I don't know how to fix it all together. Looking at is starting to look at the structure that's down there. To see whether or not it is viable to work, because they found out we have not done a, what do you call it, a structural engineering view of it. That would be number one on this, and then number two is starting to make that house so it is secure and will no longer decay or there.
I guess I've got two questions,
Mhm.
maybe three.
Okay,
Could we say this is going to be a venue? And then advertise it as site? Does it have to be?
does not have to cover it all.
This.
Correct.
Is we need that for wetlands.
Correct.
This be with that.
Correct. Anything that we do that would entice some kind of income revenue back to the city. In that grounds area. Would count. But again, most of this is for the repair and the working on the roundhouse at this point.
Answer your question, Charlie. We could say we want to do venues, but we don't have big events there. So that's our plan to generate income. So we'll fit it.
now, we should get this. Grant for donation. And this was brought up to other people, and we make money on the donation, we're doing.
But again, that's a little farther, just trying to say that this is a starting point. And in order to get the starting point going, we need to commit to $24,800. Now, that is not in the resolution. The resolutions you have before you, because we did not know about this until yesterday. So that creates an issue for us.
Is that 25,000
No,
for over the 8 years?
over 8 years.
So we only need.
$3,225. That's on that first letter from,
In the email.
first email from Tanya, the doctor does talk about that in there. Charlie,
Well,
speak up please, so I can hear you over here.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, well, last year we had a lady here from University of Nevada, Reno.
yeah,
He's a Japanese person going around checking all the. For the Japanese ticket, I took it over. Yeah, but. And she's been really interested in it, and she'll put it out too, along with Sharon, my wife, and our president. If they start doing, they gotta bring people to Harvard.
yes. It will bring people to Harvard because Harvard was one of the few places in the United States where the Japanese people, when they were wanting to move them to internment camps, the railroad and Hartson said, no, they stay here, they're part of our community. And that is a vital thing for the Japanese history in America. And that will be a draw. But again, we have to get the whole area kind of opened up, worked on, so that we can do some of this. Okay.
Yeah, you can walk, I mean, once it's cleaned out, but you gotta be careful when you clean it out.
Well, that's why there's a large idea coming in this summer to start looking at that stuff there. We also have that car that's going back to in place that they used to live. That's up on the property, somebody else's property. It's gonna be coming down to the people area, so there's a lot involved here. And I want you to understand that. But in order for us to move forward, we have to be able to, in some ways take a risk, and in other ways, we have to be committed to it. Otherwise, there's no use doing it. Okay? So because some of these factors changed in a resolution from what we had thought, we have to postpone this one too. Till we can get this resolution, and we have to be able to say, is this kind of where you want to go? Because Tanya Garber's gonna want to know that. So, what's your feeling discussion wise?
But you know. Like, when they start working on. Graphic stuff. We can. Take pictures of it, my wife can put it on the website.
Okay,
That's really.
that's down the road. That's good.
That's it, but I'll work on it.
I appreciate that, it's been good. We have to decide tonight. Next week, next council meeting is, are we gonna commit the $25,800, $3,225 a year for 8 years? And give them permission to do this grant stack that they're talking about. Per year. Well,
Do you need a
So-
motion to approve it or a motion to move it to May 25th?
I think we need a motion to move it to May 25th so that we can rewrite the order of the resolution. To include the fact that we are going to put money into this and sign the document that says we're moving forward on all of this.
That we set the resolution for the rail yard grant for May 26th agenda.
There's a second. Any other discussion, thoughts? All in favor, raise your right hand. All in favor, or, yeah, opposed, same sign, there we go, okay. Uh, Okay. City committee members. Okay, I have one application here, from Mariah Holt to be on the Recreation Committee, and I would like to appoint her to that committee with your permission. Mariah Holt. There's a second? I have not seen any other applications come in. I held it off from last meeting in order for us to get a couple of them. This is the only one that's come in. So I'd like to go ahead and move that way. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign, passes unanimous. We have door hangers as an action item here. For several years, we have, if people were 60 days past due on their water and sewer bill, we would put a door hanger, giving them 3 business days to pay up or to have their water shut off. Our ordinance that's out there says that there is no door hanger. It says if you're 60 days past due, you have until the 15th of that following month to pay or your water shut off. There's been some contention with the door hangers going out that creates some issues for us. In looking at all of the council minutes going back quite a while, the only reference that we can come up with is the September 10th meeting of 2019, where Charlie Bennett requested that the committee, the ordinance committee, consider adding a fee to utility users who are delivered a door hanger delinquent past due notice. Rob advised him that it will be considered during the discussion on fees of utilities. The only reference we have to it as far as a door hanger being used. But we know it's been used since Kathy Newland was here. Okay, the only other reference that we find this in is in the there was a Big Timber policy and procedure manual that was looked at. And it says in there, in that policy and procedure manual, which we were working on to try and adopt, it says in there on one of the sections in here, it says if you're late, they'll do a door hanger. But it was never approved by council to do. Because this policy and procedure was never passed by council. So the question we have, can we dispense with the door hangers and go back to the policy in the ordinance that says if you're 60 days past due, when that 60th day hits, you've got until the 15th of that next month to pay, or we shut your water off without any further notice.
The reason we go with the money is because the clerk would have to sit there and go through all this stuff, make out the door hangers, and Bob would have, and Jeff would have to hang them on the door. At that time, how many? A lot, wasn't there? Quite a few.
12 to 15 per event.
But, you know, it's cost the city to do it, all that stuff every time, that's why we asked for the fee.
I understand that, Frank.
Yes. It was a policy we never passed. Would it just be the right thing to do, is just to stop using that, if that's what you want to do?
That's what we're asking to make sure.
That is creating. It says to follow our ordinance.
That's what we're asking for, because it was never passed by the council. Susan?
I agree with Frank, follow the ordinance. I also think it's a safety issue. People, we've already had them get it tacked over the trees. We've had them get it tacked over the potholes. We don't need to send it up to the front door, knocking on their door. That they don't get paid enough for that. It's a safety issue. They don't need door hangers.
I think we need an action, even though it was not passed by council. We need to make a statement that this is the way it's gonna be, that we will follow the ordinance. I can't remember the ordinance on it now, but the ordinance did state that at any past due amount, 60 days past due, that when that notice went out, because it does show you past due and current on your billing, that they have until the 15th of the month, the following month, to pay it. If they don't, we shut off the water. No question. Okay. Second, okay. Any other discussion? It's just like your phone bill or your utility bill. They don't send you door hang, no, they. Do they? Well, I have never seen it, but anyway, that doesn't mean much. So, okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, same sign, passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay. This is gonna get hot, we gotta hurry here. We've been talked to, Anita and I have been approached by when Bob and Jeff and I went to the rural water meeting, and I was at the executive forum in Livingston. We're all told several times that we should use a program called the STIP. It's a short-term investment pool through the state of Montana to invest our money in that we have in the checking account. And we can transfer money back and forth and there's no charge. And, you know, we can make money on it. STIP currently is running 3.86% interest rate on the money. We looked at our last statement from the bank. We're getting 0.25% interest on the money. So I took the liberty to go talk to the bank and see what they would do, as opposed to us shipping money back and forth all the time. And if we left it in the bank, what they would do for us, they said they would give us 3.5% interest. STIP was 3.86. Correct. If we leave it here, they'll give us 3.5% interest on the money, all the money that's in the checking account. Okay,
I would so move that we leave it at Citizens Bank and support our local bank for 3.5% interest.
Second that.
any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign, passes unanimously. Okay. You have in front of you of what they have on the top of this is ordinance, and I guess it's the number of ordinances we've changed throughout the year. So 01-2026, which goes to Title 13, which is talking about exclusive what do you call it? Franchise. You guys, it says, whereas the city council of the city of Harleton has previously granted a non-exclusive franchise to Northwestern Energy to construct, equip, lay, maintain, or operate in, under, upon, over, across the streets, alleys, avenues, highways, bridges, easements, and other public places in the city of Montana, Harleton, Montana, is now or hereafter constituted natural gas delivery facilities for the purpose of transporting, conveying, distributing, supplying, and selling natural gas services for heat, power, and other purposes as provided in Harleton Municipal Code 13-1 or .1.1 through 13.1.10. And whereas the mayor and council have determined that it is more efficient to grant future non-exclusive franchises by resolution rather than by ordinance, unless an ordinance is required by law, now therefore be it ordained by the city council of the city of Harleton that section 1, that a new 13.2.1 in the Harleton Municipal Code is hereby created, and such section shall read as follows. Unless otherwise required by law, the city council may consider and grant or deny a non-exclusive franchise for the use of streets, avenues, alleys, highways, bridges, easements, and other public places in the city of Harleton, Montana through a resolution. Effective date, this ordinance shall become effective 30 days after second reading and final adoption as provided by law. Repealer, all resolution, ordinances, and sections of the city code inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Severability, if any provision of this ordinance or the application thereof to any person or circumstance is held invalid, such invalidity shall not affect the other provisions of this ordinance, which may be given effect without invalid precisions or provisions or application. To this end, the provision of this ordinance are declared to be severable. Okay? So, is that good enough for first reading?
Yes.
This is our first reading of this ordinance. Frank? I establishing up on top.
We can correct that.
We can correct that. Okay. So we're good with the first one? Now, we don't need to vote or anything on the first?
Oh, you do.
You do?
Yes, you do.
Okay. I guess we need a motion to approve first reading of this amendment or this ordinance change. Okay. Okay. Second? Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. I forgot, I'm sorry, any public comment? Okay, all we're saying is that we're taking the ordinance out and we're gonna do it by resolution from this day forward. I didn't think these were all that long. Gee. Okay, he says I don't have to read them verbatim, or unless you want me to read them. Not that I can read well. Okay, 002-206. Okay. This one won't be that long either, hopefully.
He's giving her a copy if you don't want to read it.
Okay. Ordinance 02-206, which relates to Title 15, Title 15 being the moving of buildings inside the city limits. Going to where they have to have insurance, some other items and permission in order to move that before they can move like a mobile home, modular home, or such equipment in the city. Required? That's on,
The up in the bold text.
in the bold text again? Okay. Everybody had time to take a look at it? Is there a motion to accept the first reading? Second? Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign, passes unanimously. Ordinance 04-2026. Again, the 03-2026, we are putting on hold. We need to vote on that, but don't we? Excuse me, let's go back to 03-2026. This is a Title 16 change on leases of city property. And until we find out the election on the whether or not we will be electing or deciding as a city to go to self-governing as opposed to staying the same. If it goes to self-governing, we need to change some of the verbiage in here. If not, then we'll read that as read. So can we have a motion to postpone this until we say June 2nd's election?
June 9th, or yeah, June 2nd.
June 2nd. Can we postpone this this ordinance change until the 9th of June?
I would move that we postpone the ordinance 3/2026, Title 16 till the June 9th agenda.
A second. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. Ordinance 04-2026. This is the tree board ordinance that we found that has never been recorded, but was listed in our old books of ordinances. Goes back to 1987. And since it's never been given a title and or a location, we would like to remove it from any thought process of ordinance, okay? So we would entertain a motion to accept the first reading of this ordinance change. In
I would move that we delete the never recorded ordinance of 4-6.
second, okay, any discussion, public? We found it. We found it in a book of ordinances, old ordinances, And because we've already established by resolution a tree board committee, we don't need it, and it's easier to run by the resolution than it is to run through the ordinance. So we're totally deleting the ordinance in case it would ever come up as, oh, well, why didn't you do it with this? Okay? Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign, passes unanimously. Okay, most of you have gotten a letter from the Montana Department of Administration. It was faxed to you. We also have a copy for you there. Email to you. Came from the Department of Administration, in which we were notified that some of the state funds would be withheld and not paid to us until we get certain, what do you call it? Findings from our last audit clarified and corrected. And they would have to have a 3-month in a row showing that it has been corrected. There are some issues here. Our audit has been changed again. It was March 20th. It was changed to June.
No, it was June 8th and it's been changed to July 20th.
Okay, June, I thought it was gonna be earlier than that. Okay.
No.
Okay. Wrong story, I'm sorry. Our audit for the year 24-25 will be coming up. It was gonna be for
June 8th.
June 8th. It's been moved to July 20th. Reason being, according to our books, we have supposedly $2 million in the account, between $2 and $3 million in our account. Because the bank statements from 2023, 2024, and 2024 into 2025, before Anita came, were not reconciled.
Actually, it goes clear back to 2020.
Oh, no, you're right, it does, because it did, well, let's say here, yeah, it goes back to 2020, 2022, 2021. The bank statements were not all cleared properly on the accounting system. We do not have those funds in our account. I think last time I looked, there's only about 600 and some odd $1,000 in our checking account. Okay. So what that means is that the auditor found that there was a discrepancy there, and in order to move forward, we have to reconcile those checks as being cleared and or why they were there, because we found some issues where handwritten checks were written. So it was put on the accounting system, erased off to the accounting system, and we don't know why. So the auditor, or no, Montana League of Cities and Towns, is helping us work through that issue. They're getting very close to being done to where we can just say, boom, that's where we're at. But the dollar value, as of the last time we checked, is still high enough that it would still be a major finding for this audit that's coming up. And that prohibits our annual financial report for the year 24-25 from being complete. Am I correct?
Mhm.
So we have a couple options here, and the funds the state is holding, if I remember right, it is gas tax.
Yes.
They're holding gas tax, but they are not going to, where is it? Payments for service, it says on the last page there, it says the final assistance withheld will exclude the following. The financial assistance withheld will exclude the following: payments for services or supplied rendered by the city of Harleton, payments for benefits of claims of individuals paid to the city of Harleton, all payments from the Department of Revenue, all payments from Office of Public Instruction, and funding awarded through ARPA grants to the city of Harleton. Those are excluded. So basically, the only ones that they are holding are the gas, the fuel tax. As soon as we get all this squared away, and they show 3 months of everything working all right, we get those gas tax monies back. But at this time, they're put on hold. Now, in regards to that, we have an issue that we need to talk about. Montana League of Cities and Towns is working with 30 small cities in the state of Montana. They're in the same situation we are in. We got our letter just after, was it Lewistown? Or Lewistown's been working on theirs a little bit.
And Deer Lodge got theirs after us.
We got our letter, Deer Lodge got theirs, and another town is supposed to get theirs soon. Okay, but they're working with 30 different cities that are in the same boat that we're in. They said if we wanted them to speed up the process, they would put more people on it, on the project to get it cleared for us, but it would cost us more money. We haven't budgeted a lot of more money for that, but in essence, it looked like they would put, they've got 3 people working on it now, they might put up to 6 people working on it. But it would cost us per hour for the people to go through and to work through these issues. Or we continue to go at this slower pace, and hopefully they get done before July 20th.
Right.
I think we should do it and get it over with.
Yeah, are they actually?
Okay, what they're looking at is Lewistown they've been working with longer, and they about got them done. We got our letter, Deer Lodge got their letter, and another city's supposed to get theirs. The others they've been trying to work with a little bit, but concentrate on those who got the letter.
And we're next.
And we're next in line.
Yeah.
And so if we had 6 people working on it instead of 3, it would go through faster. We don't know.
They won't know until they get done. It's just gonna be hourly until they can get all of this caught up,
Ballpark.
not until they get it finished. What?
What's the hour?
$70 an hour? Yeah, I was gonna say it. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. I'm letting you guys talk first. We'll go to Julie.
Yeah. Long haul. Fix it. Fine. This auditor will find that.
What would happen is they would probably say, we're done giving you extensions. We're gonna do the audit. And the audit last time had 9 findings on it.
Mhm.
And we're in hopes that if we can get this done, we'll only have a few, 3 or 4 maybe, hopefully, because everything else has been squared away except for our bank statement coming up to this point. Frank?
We are working on it now.
Correct,
Yes.
we are. Correct. Okay, do we have a motion to do that, please? Okay,
We will budget for funds.
we will make the funds. I shouldn't say that. We have $600,000 in the account, but we can't sort it out because we don't know where the expenses should have been. But we have that kind of money in the account. But again, we're having to worry about, our reserves and et cetera that we're coming up with. And so it's sometimes I hate to say it, but in some ways you have to just do it to get it done. So then you can say, okay, now we know how many funds we have available and where they have to go. But until that time, we're in deep trouble because if the state decides to say your audit's on, like it or not, and they find us again, then we're gonna be penalized even more.
With 40 times 3 times. What you said, 70.
But if it takes 3 people, 2 people to do what 6 people would do, 1 piece.
Yeah.
Piece.
So technically it would be, it would just get it done faster. And then if we could get if we get this down to a manageable figure, that we can say, okay, we just have to truncate this because we can't come up with anything else. Okay, then the audit, when it comes, they will say, okay, we're not gonna penalize you for that. We understand the problem for that. It will be mentioned, but it will not be a critical finding. Okay, that's what we want. Cause then it relieves all the other pressure. Okay? Well, it would have to go 3 months. 3 months of showing after we do the truncation, which would be after the audit. And we do know that since Anita's been here, all the bank statements have been reconciled. We do know that we've made a lot of,
Cleaned up.
yeah, we've cleaned up a lot of issues, a lot of problems. We brought a lot of them to you guys, and you know that. We're still coming up with a few. We're still gonna hit you with some a little later down the line, not tonight. Okay, so this is kind of where we're at, and we're trying to get it so that we can move forward. So. Is there a motion? Okay, there's a second. Any other questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Are you on the opposed, Susan?
No, majority.
Are we getting any more double payments anymore? Remember when I had 3 people that they got double
No.
payments?
No,
Oh.
'cause we got that all cleaned up. I mean, that was happening a year and 2 years ago. That stuff, I mean, nobody's getting double paid.
No.
Vendors not
We're just
getting paid or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spend the money back.
No, that's been cleaned up and there's been no issue or any calling of past due, number one, or number two, we got an extra check here, what's it for? So we're squared away there. What we can't control is what was done prior. We need to get past prior to move forward with what we got, okay? Understand, okay? Last item on our list here outside of reports, we approved dump truck repair. We had a bid of, what was it, 6,000? I thought it was 6,000 and we put another 2 on it, 8,000. Okay, so we figured that when they got to working on it, when they told us it's gonna be another $1,300, we figured still in, we're golden, we're in there. Oh, that was for the part. Did not include labor, did not include other material to go with that. So they billed us for $11,854.10. We said, wait a minute. You told us it's gonna be roughly $6,000, between $6,000 and $7,000. We had a couple $1,000 on top of that. This doesn't seem right. And said, yeah, we did. We forgot to tell you all this other stuff. So they said, we'll give you $1,459.20 credit, which is the labor for all the work. So we still owe approximately $10,400, give or take a little, for that repair. We had said it's all put back together, isn't
It's
it?
already,
It's done. Well, we thought we had. I mean, we were quite liberal. Second item of interest, just in case you're wondering, the second dump truck took a dive. And Chip, I was gonna say Charlie, Chip's trying to get it fixed and going again.
so it's repaired, but this, for everybody's information, like in 1973, so we might wanna start thinking for another one.
And that's why we need to have some reserves going in. And that's why we need the water and the sewer the way we're talking about, so we would have some reserves for that. So when it goes puke like that, then we've got some money. Okay, or we can replace it with a newer vehicle. Okay, and this is the newest dump truck that we bought, so. hate to do it, but, can we get permission to pay it?
Yes.
We have budgeted for it. Pardon? Any other discussion?
Yeah, but when you open it up, you just don't.
He said there was additional problems when they opened it up.
So the hydraulic pump was out of it, which he was not aware until he got it tore apart.
Yeah,
And it was in drug parks is where it is.
yeah, Inland Truck Parks and service out of Dillon.
He doesn't work there anymore, retired. We take that this.
Okay, any other discussion, thoughts? All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign, passes unanimous. Hopefully, we can keep the reports here to fairly quickly. Bob, what we got for Public Works?
It's common stuff and street repair, working the pipe. We got the storm drain fields is all that.
Good. Oh, I did see a cone across the street behind the oak rail fence and the Wesleyan Church parking lot there. I don't know, that's your cone or
That's
somebody
been
else?
since the project upgrade, that marking the line.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what it was. I just saw a cone there and I thought maybe,
That's just so we don't lose track of where that valve is.
okay. Okay. That's all?
Yeah.
Okay. Clerk Treasurer?
I spent last week at Municipal Institute. As we saw tonight, found a few things that we needed to change, so we are changing those. The state has changed their way of doing records retention. Some of it has to be kept forever, some for 25 years, some for 50 years, some for a year. So we're gonna start working on that. Trying to figure out what we can get rid of. The recommendation from the state and from legal counsel there was to get rid of everything you can, because then it cannot be subpoenaed for anything. So we'll start working on that. Everything's got to be brought to you guys before we get rid of it. So we'll start making lists of this and bring it to the council before we get rid of it. And he mentioned the audit has been changed to July 20th.
I have a report for you this evening. Okay. County Attorney or City Attorney? City Attorney.
Was at the same, meeting that Anita was at, was asked to speak in one session and doing that. Been asked to be on the MMI governance committee by their CEO, and I'll let you know if that has any implications for Harlingen. I met with one of the veterinarians today and animal cruelty case in the sheriff's office. Going to be back here tomorrow morning to meet with another witness at 11:30 and another vet at 1 o'clock. So I'm into that, particular case that would like to go to trial. 4 other pending criminal misdemeanor cases, and that's about it.
Okay. Items are, since the sheriff's office is not represented this evening, we won't have a report from them. Any other items other than what we talked about throughout the meeting, things for next?
For the 26th, we have the Civic Plus contract, Fisher's Flowers, and the railroad resolution. For June 9th, we have the park use agreement, open container ordinance 03-2026, which is Title 16 leases, and then Cody will be back on the agenda for the 9th.
Okay, any other items that you have? Okay. Any items from the public? We were everybody out. Okay, good. Okay, this last thing is approved claims.
Yes, please. 22767. Perfect.
Second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Passes unanimously. Thank you for your hard work. Yeah, all of your notes that you wrote,
Yes, please.
I put dinner too.
Boy, you got sign this.
There you go, there's one.
Show them that between two and four is a good time. That's what dying.
She asked if we could do it during that time. I said yes.
But we're gonna keep doing it because of the work. So I'm sure.
If I, this is not for for the, how to set up our plan for the trees. How we're gonna work with the trees. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just the one.
This is all mine?
Yes.
Right.
Because I'm gonna make it right now. I'm just-
Yeah, because my phones, and one's coming in and they're the ones that ask for the time.
Such as. Understood them.
Yeah.
Minutes.
Thank you, Frank. Okay.